every other week. Oh, did the...
Ta-da. The tweet should be going out in a second. Yeah, sometimes it'll lag behind like 30 seconds or something. But we're live. Hey, everybody.
Yay!
Hey, YouTube.
What's going on, guys?
Hey, hey, hey. Yeah, I'm just waiting for it to populate myself. There it is.
Yep, I retweeted it.
Ta-da! Good old scheduled tweets on Twitter, man.
Mm-hmm.
How's everybody doing? I hope everybody's well. Everybody out there tonight in YouTube
Indeed.
land.
I hope everybody's nice.
Yeah, yes. With the all-in mug. I have my coffee in there too. I've been trying to drink my coffee a little bit more slowly so that I can still be sipping on it intermittently as we're doing this news roundup. My coffee's now getting cold. So, which is fine. I can get behind a cold coffee every now and then.
That's specifically why I wait until like 5 minutes before we go live.
I can't. I would like to, but
I know.
It takes like 10 minutes just to set all this crap up. It's like ridiculous. It's like the thing that nobody talks about with streaming is like just how long it takes to get everything set up. Like, holy moly. It's ridiculous. So,
hello everybody. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us, folks. We do this every single week if this is your first time here. Around this time, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, we break down the weekend Nintendo news. And this is just a part of our weekly Nintendo podcast that we do. It's like the first segments of our show, essentially. But we do much more than just this. We spotlight an indie game in our indie showcase every single week. We produce a weekly top 5, and then we have kind of a revolving fourth main segment every single week as part of the podcast as well. So you're very much just getting like a taste of the full podcast here tonight if you're watching us live. So appreciate it.
This is just chapter 1 of the episode.
That's right. And we do this part live on camera. The other parts are not on camera. And this is the one segment of the show where I have to be in front of the camera to reveal the horribly placed pimple I got. I don't know if you can see this. I got a pimple right here, smack dab between my eyebrows.
Nobody was ever going to know.
Well, now they do. It's right there, the most annoying pimple placement of all time. And so I popped it, but now it's just there, and it's so annoying. I can't stop looking at it. I feel like when you're playing GoldenEye and you used to have like the little like cardboard divider, you know, did you ever do that? Put up a cardboard divider so people don't screen cheat?
I can't really think about that right now. All I'm thinking about is how my coffee tastes like pimple.
Ew. I wasn't trying to go there.
Yeah. But yes, about the cardboard divider that we used to keep people from screen cheating.
Yeah. So your eyes would just have to be focused in like one spot. That's me with this stupid thing. So anyway, I'm sure it'll go away. But when you're having to do stuff on camera, it's like, really life? Really? This is what you're gonna do to me? It's
hey man,
fine.
Honestly, if this is the worst thing that we have to both deal with this week, I will take
I'll take it. Yeah, I'll take it too. I briefly considered putting makeup on it, but I didn't go that far. I did not go that far. Y'all get the raw Seth. All right, this is already off the rails. Shall we get started, Eric?
No, let's keep going down this. Why not? Well, new $2 Hero Cast.
Welcome to the Pimple Cast. This is the kind of energy you get on the $2 Hero Cast, by the way. It's just whatever machinations are happening up there in this thing. This is that $2 Hero Cast energy for sure. Okay, let's go ahead and roll the intro. We'll see you on the other side, everybody. All right, Agent E, Agent Eric, we're here bringing you another episode of All In, a Nintendo podcast, the weekly Nintendo variety show where each and every week No shell is left unturned and no point is left unearned. We are happy to be here, as always, live right now, recording the first segments of our show on youtube.com/allinpodcast. Shout outs to everybody watching us live. We love and appreciate you.
Shout outs to all you guys from Agent E and Agent S. You called me Agent E. I was like, what am I, Man in Black?
Men in
and then I was
Black?
like, oh, I literally am.
You know what? I'm happy to be wearing a black shirt today too, so I guess that's what we'll roll with today. With the secret agent fiction all over the place. So again, shout outs to everybody watching us live on YouTube right now. We do this every night, 5 p.m. Pacific, every Friday night. Not every night. Oh, could you imagine? 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, youtube.com/allinpodcast. We love and appreciate you guys. But you know who else we love and appreciate, Eric?
I love every single one of our patrons and appreciate them as well.
Yes. So our Golden Banana and Triforce tier patrons do get shout outs here at the beginning of the show. And first and foremost, we want to welcome to the All In Army Bowza, who joined us at the Golden Banana tier. Hey, Bowza.
The fall girl herself.
Yeah, it's true. She was playing some Fall Guys with us just last night, actually. I'm sure we'll talk about that. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Here in a second. Bowza's a great person, a great friend, one of the backtrackers in the carpool gaming community, and she's just
great member of our Discord already.
Oh yeah. She joined the All In Discord and community, and she's the best, man. She's great. So hi Bowza, thank you for supporting us on Patreon. It is very, very much appreciated, my friend. But the rest of the Golden Banana bunch that she just joined include Rob Yapel, Third Strongest Mole, Sean Shano Baggins Ashton, Tim A, aka Neoprime33, aka Nintendo Dad Number 4, Matt Shy Guy City Murray, Drew Agnew, Phelan Ward, Bill Tucker, Marcus O'Neill, Liam D, and Solo Something. We love our Golden Banana bunch, man.
You guys are awesome.
Moving on to the Triforce tier, we want to thank Josh Vaughn, the godfather of Tingle Love Tuesday, John Dat Fast Cummins of the Retrologic podcast and On Topic Retro, the Globetrotting Jet Setting Nintendo Hub and Sparky of the Nintendo Hub. First of his name, yeah, it gets longer and longer. Of the Nintendo Hub here on YouTube, definitely support Sparky. Adam Caparello, aka Octorock1982, who has a YouTube channel of the same name, and the Retro Groove podcast. Shy Guy, the other half of our Shy Guy mod squad. Danielina Hosa, longtime friend and supporter. Dan and Luma, who just recently joined the Patreon. We love them very much. And the legend himself.
The legend, the legendary legend, whose legend will be the stuff of legends. Uncle Randy.
Uncle Randy. Love you very much, Uncle Randy. Thank you so much, as always, for your continued love and support of this thing. And we don't have any new 5-star reviews to shout out this week, but this is where we would shout them out if we had them. And if you want to have your reviews shout out, you can head over to Apple Podcasts, Podchaser, Audible. Leave us some words or rate us anonymously on Spotify, and we'll shout you out here at the beginning of the show. We super appreciate that. But, sir, with all that being said, what's been going on this week?
It's been a very interesting week. I finally started my very first Fire Emblem game, Seth.
Ooh.
Started playing Fire Emblem Engage this past week, and I've got to say, it's a lot of it is what I've been expecting from the Fire Emblem franchise. I'm only at Chapter 7. It still feels very, very early on in the game, but even though there's already a lot of stuff to consider when you're going into battle. I've already got like a full dozen party members that I can bring into each fight. I've already got 5 different, what they're called, emblem rings that can summon Fire Emblem heroes of yore to help you out in battle in interesting ways. But there's so many different things. So like I said, just consider, despite the fact that on the surface it looks very simple. Hey, you go here, punch this guy in the face. You go here, punch this guy in the face. You go here, shoot that guy in the face with an arrow, so on and so forth. Seems really simple on the offset, but there are so many different considerations that you need to take into account already. Like I said, there's like 5 different games of rock, paper, scissors going on. Right. You've got swords beating axes, axes beating lances, lances beating swords. You've got mounted versus unmounted. You've got airborne versus earthborne. You've got melee versus ranged. And then you've got all of these different abilities and buffs that can occur when enemies and even allies are within a certain proximity to one another. Different characters give adjacent heroes or foes different buffs, or they can do chain attack. There's so much going on. And there's already a lot of, I know a lot of people have lamented the lack of relationship building in this game.
About this. Mm-hmm.
I can't really speak to the other games, but there is relationship building in this game. You can actually build up relationships with allies as you maneuver and as you act next to them. Like if a party member heals another party member, they will become closer. If two party members engage in combat together against the same enemy, they will become closer. And you actually see that in the battlefield. There's a little heart icon, and then they can actually develop better synergy and even buffs by working more together and stuff like that. Again, a ton of stuff going on. It's not, I don't know, because again, I don't really have a standard for comparison with other Fire Emblem games, but you can gift. There are gifts that you can give to your other party members, and they can take part in, some cute little interactions between themselves. And I do really dig it. The presentation's fantastic. It looks really good. Presentation's amazing. I will say, one thing about the game is I'm all for deep friendships and loyalty and, people being dedicated to the quote unquote hero of the story. But in this game, you play as the quote unquote divine dragon, and get used to those two words because you hear them. I've already heard them literally hundreds of times. And it's not even just like friendships. You are this mythical being who has been asleep for 1,000 years, and not like deep, dark in some ruined cave away from the world. No, at this incredibly accessible place called the Somniel, where people literally take pilgrimages to pray at your bed. You are this, you are a literal deity to these people. So it's not even like your party members are your friends. They have a borderline fanatical obsession with you. Mm-hmm. So it does come off as...
I'm not into that. Sorry.
It would genuinely make me uncomfortable if some people started talking to me the way my party members talk to the main character. But even outside of that, if I'm being completely honest, a lot of the dialogue between the different party members is hyper complimentary, completely unnaturally hyper complimentary.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I'm sorry if I inconvenienced you by walking through the same general area of space that you occupy. Oh no, don't worry at all about it. You are so amazing at everything and so beautiful. You shouldn't worry about things like that. Yeah, I'm like people don't talk that way. But gameplay and presentation wise, I am really digging it. Very excited to dig even deeper. I've taken part in a couple side missions already and a couple skirmishes, what they call optional battles. So yeah, I mean, if you're looking for a tactics-based battler, my initial impressions are pretty good. We will see how I feel about the rest of the game because, admittedly, I've been lured in by initial impressions for a few games recently that wound up kind of stinging me in the end. But I mean, it got a really good Metacritic score, so I'm hoping that we can add to that when we wind up doing some semblance of a review of Fire Emblem Engage a little ways down the road. But in addition to that, another game that I was hyper excited to play this past week, another game that I haven't been able to finish quite yet, but oh my God, Seth, I love A Space for the Unbound.
I do too. Yeah, I haven't finished it yet either, but I really like it.
Yeah, another really special game coming from our friends over at Toge Productions over in Southeast Asia. They've kind of become one of the most consistent indie publishers in the industry at this point, to the point where, like, if I see their logo, that's immediately like an interest, a hype builder for me at this point. Because we talk ad nauseum about Coffee Talk. We love stuff like Rising Hell and But this is just another really, really special game. I absolutely adore it. The pixel art is really, really cool.
Beautiful.
But not in like a retro kind of way. They're not trying to emulate the 16-bit or 32-bit era. It almost feels like pixel art by way of Miyazaki or something.
A little bit. It reminds me of like a really well animated DS, like a Ghost Trick or something.
Yeah, I
like
can
that.
see that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Something like Trace Memory or
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I can see that. And like Ghost Trick, like Trace Memory, it's also at its core a 2D point and click adventure. But the story and the characters and the gameplay variety is just really, really cool, really, really fun. I've had a smile on my face the entire time. Genuinely, some story beats that I was not expecting.
Same. Yeah.
So very, very much looking forward to finishing that. God, I love that game so much. I really hope we get a physical release. Yeah, I really hope we get a physical release of that in the West.
Me too.
That's so good. But on top of that, Seth, you and I had a little fun with our pals last night, didn't we?
We did. That was fun. Yeah, we played some. The night started with Fall Guys, and then kind of as we were playing, GoldenEye.
Yeah, thanks for everybody who came out to play Fall Guys with us. Bowser and Sam and a bunch of people. Yeah. Micah won a few too many matches last night.
It was a little much. Yeah. Sam's here in the YouTube chat, by the way, and I did want to. He left a funny comment about Fire Emblem that I wanted to shout out. He says Fire Emblem always has to make it weird, and not in the good keep Nintendo weird way. So, very true.
Nice plug, Sam.
I appreciate that, Sam.
Buy your Keep Nintendo Weird stickers and shirts at bit.ly/all-in-merch. But
that's right.
But again, thank you for everybody coming out to play Fall Guys. But yeah, of course, GoldenEye dropped last night. We had to. I mean, we had to. It was 1996 all over again. You had four friends sitting around the N64 or the Nintendo Switch in this case. And Seth, in the year 2023, you and I and the pals were able to play online multiplayer with GoldenEye 007.
Now does the controls age like milk? They don't hold up whatsoever.
I've been saying this for the past week. I've been saying this for the past week. Everybody's like, "Oh my god, this is amazing! This is amazing!" I'm like, "We've got to see how it controls because yes, it's a legendary game, but this game came out well before the whole twin stick, standard came about." So before that standard came about. Yeah.
We knew this was going to happen. We knew what to, coming in, we knew that it wasn't going to hold up in that way. However, it was still a lot of fun. Like it was just fun.
Still a lot of fun.
And nostalgic and broken and janky, it was fun.
Us running around trying to throw knives at each other and then them just clanging off a wall. Yeah. It was a ton of stupidity, but yes, it was a lot of fun. But if you're looking for actual good games, maybe don't boot it up and play online 4-player multiplayer slappers only.
Yeah. But that was really rough, dude.
Yeah. I would like to see them add because we've just become so used to the standard way of controlling first-person games with the left stick controlling the movement, the right stick controlling your point of view.
Yeah. But if they did that, though, man, you would get the purists that would be whining about that too,
Of course.
So,
well, you're never going to be able to please everybody, so you might as well just make the best thing that you can possibly make.
Yeah. Well, in this one too, though, because this was just added to NSO, like the purpose of this is to give you the game in its original form or whatever. So like I get it. It's just that the game in its original form hasn't aged well. Yeah. That can be said about many N64 games, but it was, when you boot up the N64 NSO app, you're met with all of these games. It really is amazing to have these all at your fingertips and to be able to, in 2023, sit there and play 4-player online split-screen GoldenEye together. As broken and janky as it was, so nostalgic, I instantly was like, I wanted a Pizza Hut pizza You know what I
Exactly.
mean? Like
Get
that.
some Surge and some
Yes.
pizza. Yeah. Go to
1000%.
Blockbuster afterwards.
1000%. Like
Go
that's
see Jurassic Park.
that's totally the vibe, and in that way, it's very fun. And to be fair too, I don't know if you've been playing the single player at all.
I did, yeah.
Yeah, I've been having a lot of fun playing the
Yeah,
single
single
player.
player actually holds up pretty
Yeah.
well. If you want to know how to do it, in the last screen, you go to the pause menu after you listen to the pause music for a few hours.
Yeah.
Go to the final screen of the pause menu. At the very bottom is the option to turn on the 16:9 aspect ratio, the full screen mode for any modern television. So there is that option available in GoldenEye. You just have to go into the options. It's not the default. I do think it should be the default.
Yeah.
But just go into the last screen of the options menu. At the very bottom, you'll very clearly see the 16:9 ratio there.
And it's weird because it's only in the single player, and like if you go to like bring up the pause menu, it'll go back to the 4:3 and then back to the 16 by.
Yeah.
You can tell they just kind of like worked it in. It doesn't work like perfectly 100% of the time, but it is really nice. And I do like I've been playing it primarily in handheld on the OLED. It looks gorgeous on the OLED.
I bet, yeah.
Gorgeous.
Yeah.
And and I think there are some things about it that are still really interesting. Like I genuinely think the concept of like having more mission objectives based on your difficulty level, I think that's a really interesting concept. And I'd kind of forgotten about that. I was like, why aren't more people doing stuff like this?
Oh, they do. There's so many unique and interesting things in GoldenEye that you've never seen again in first-person shooters. The whole like there's the C4 and a bunch of the mission-specific gadgets that you get.
Watch laser and
the watch laser. Yeah, there's so many cool and interesting things to do. And I love the enemy animations in that game are legendary. They're so good. They're so amazing. And low-key, the game actually does look pretty good.
I think so.
For it being almost 30 years old at this point, the game does look very good, and I'm very excited to have the legend back. And everybody knew how big of a deal this was. Rare's been tweeting about it ad nauseum for the past few days. Nintendo has actually been tweeting about it quite a bit.
Of course,
not just to say that hey, this is out, but they've actually done multiple follow-up tweets. They knew that this wasn't just another NSO drop themselves. They've been really hyping this up as well. And I'm just, I'm happy to have it. And I really don't want to sound like one of those content creators that's never happy, because I am incredibly happy to have this. But this was something we talked about when GoldenEye was announced, is this further opens that forbidden door of Rare and Nintendo.
Yep.
There's so many other all-time greats on the Nintendo 64 from Rareware that are begging to see the light of day again, that haven't been re-released in any form since the Nintendo 64. Sure, we have some of them on Rare Replay, games like Jet Force Gemini and Killer Instinct Gold, but there's a couple other ones that I would really, really like to see back. I always bring up Blast Corps, A, because it's an incredibly underrated game more people should play, and B, because I genuinely don't think it has seen an official re-release since the Nintendo 64, and I would love to see that.
Yeah, I can't remember if it was ever on virtual, but Blast Corps would also hold up really well, because Blast Corps isn't a very mechanically complicated game. It's effectively just like a really explosive puzzle game. So like Blast Corps, I think, would actually hold up like to modern scrutiny. So that'd be cool. I 1000% think that this door is open now. We've got Banjo, we've got GoldenEye. These are kind of like two prongs of the like holy trinity of Rareware and 64 games. Diddy Kong Racing, I would say, is the last piece of this puzzle, but
you could also, honestly, you could make the argument for several games. Conquer, Perfect Dark,
DK64 even. I think that the next I think we will see Diddy Kong Racing or Perfect Dark.
God, Diddy Kong Racing, please.
I think that's going to happen. I really do think that's going to happen.
Diddy Kong Racing online multiplayer would sell me a Switch if I didn't already have one.
I think that's going to I really genuinely think that's in the cards. So
God, that would be amazing.
For now, it's just so the fact that I can grab my Switch here and just play GoldenEye is wild.
Yeah.
Like It's so cool. I just love that
Janky
this
controls
exists.
and all, but yeah, we had so much fun. Again, thank you for the Nintendo Pals for setting that up with us last night. Had a ton of fun on Fall Guys. Had a ton of fun playing online multi. I'm never going to get tired of saying that. Seth, online multiplayer
It's awesome.
GoldenEye on the Nintendo Switch last night. Had a ton of fun, and I apologize for my momentary naughtiness on stream if you guys caught that.
Yeah, that was pretty good. That was pretty good. But GoldenEye's on Switch, dude. After all this
GoldenEye's
time,
on Switch.
it's awesome. I'm
Oh
happy.
my god, I love it so. I am too. I really am. We have so many. The Switch, the library, the games available on the Nintendo Switch has honestly got to be reaching genuine GOAT status
Yeah.
at this point. The library, the catalog of games that's currently available on the Nintendo Switch. I mean, just look at it.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Good stuff. Good stuff. Anything else?
Honestly, much more than I can even count right now, but I've got to hand it over to you.
I'll be kind of quick. 'Cause a lot of it we've already touched on. A Space for the Unbound. I'm playing it too. I want to try to finish it this weekend if I can. I should have a little bit of time to do that, and I'm really enjoying it too. This one is worthy of a full
So
indie
good.
showcase.
It's
I don't
so
want to
good.
say too much because I do really want to do a full indie showcase once we've both finished it.
Yeah.
It's that good. It's really really good. And then yeah, of course, GoldenEye. I put out a couple of videos. One of them I'll save talking about for the news because one of them is relevant to news, but the other one is actually a game that just came out called The Excavation of Hobbs Barrow.
Yes.
Which is a really cool game. I think the studio's Wadjet Eye Games. So huge thanks to them. Yeah, huge thanks to them for letting us check this out and providing us a review copy. There's a video up on the YouTube channel if you're interested. What this is a folk horror point and click adventure, very much in the LucasArts vein.
Yes. Yeah.
You talk about gorgeous pixel art. This game has got gorgeous pixel art. Particularly in the cutscenes.
It's got very reminiscent pixel art for me. Like within 5 seconds of actually taking control of the main character, I was getting super like Maniac Mansion, Day of the Tentacle vibes and stuff like that. But the pixel art, I don't even know if gorgeous is. It is very unique. It is very interesting. It's definitely not your run of the mill pixel art.
I love it so much. Like because the moment to moment gameplay, like it understands the assignment. It knows the games is invoking, right?
Yes.
It looks like Monkey Island. It looks like Maniac Mansion. All this stuff.
Yep.
But yeah, in the cutscenes, it becomes like weirdly detailed, and like the way that everything just moves and animates, and like the whole time I'm thinking about it, I'm just watching these cuts. I'm like, wow, somebody just like pixel by pixel animated this. You know what I mean? And I just think about that. I'm just like, man, this is like stunning. Like there's a shot early on in the game where the main character's like eyes are just kind of like moving around. It's like a close up shot of her eyes.
Yep.
And man, like it's just beautiful. I'm just, and like just the tonality of it. It just has this total like there's a little creepy undertone. You're kind of coming into this village where it's dark and rainy and nobody wants you there and everybody's lying to you. You know.
That's the game I was thinking about. Like the cutscenes and stuff. Another World. That was the game that I was thinking about.
Yeah, a little bit. It does remind me of that a little bit. Yeah. Yeah. I'm really like this was one where like. I jumped into this and made the video, and immediately I was like, well, I've got to see where this goes. Like I'm just so on board to see where the rest of the story goes. I'm just so enchanted by the world and the vibes and the stuff that it's kind of set up. It's really, really cool. Just came out. Again, there's a video if you want to see it for yourself on the YouTube channel. I do want to talk about, so Keep Nintendo Weird, we posted the first episode of Keep Nintendo Weird Pocket Edition on Pocket Card Jockey, which I announced last week on the show, but that is now up on the podcast feed and on YouTube. I just recorded this past, I think it was Wednesday, I recorded the next proper episode of Keep Nintendo Weird, and that as voted on by our patrons, is going to be on Rusty's Real Deal Baseball.
I love Rusty's Real Deal.
And I had the pleasure of linking up with Mark and Patrick from the Nintendo Cartridge Society podcast. They were my first choice. There was no plan B. I knew I had to get them for this episode. And we sat down and talked about this game in such detail. This will be the definitive conversation about Rusty's Real Deal Baseball. There's no doubt. We tackled so many different topics, to Rusty Slugger low key being the most like fleshed out character in Nintendo history, to like nostalgia for summers in like Chicago. Like, we got into so much. And it's a great episode. I'm looking forward to you guys hearing it. Patrons do get early access to Keep Nintendo Weird. So if you don't want to wait, you can go ahead and hit the Patreon, even for $1. Even at the $1 tier, you get early access. And this will be one you guys want to hear sooner rather than later. That'll be going up for patrons sometime next week. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Playing a couple of other things that are under embargo. We'll talk about those next week.
Yes.
But we've got actually a pretty stacked little news roundup to get into. So what do you say we get into it?
Yeah, there's a couple other things that we've been playing that we need to talk about, and we're going to do it here in the news. So let's talk about it.
Hey, listen!
So, Seth, I haven't really, I've specifically not seen too much on it because I want you to paint the picture of SteamWorld Build for me. SteamWorld Build was revealed this past week as part of a SteamWorld basically mini direct.
Yeah.
And instead of being a direct follow-up to SteamWorld Dig or SteamWorld Heist, it's basically SteamWorld Sim City.
Basically, yeah. That's what it is essentially. So this SteamWorld Telegraphed Direct, SteamWorld Telegraph Special Presentation, I think was the full title. Essentially, SteamWorld Build was the only real announcement there, other than them saying, hey, like, we're making a lot of SteamWorld games. Like, I think they said other than Build, there's actually 4 other SteamWorld games in active development. So there's a lot of stuff kind of happening in the SteamWorld world.
Multi-universe.
Yeah, the multiverse of SteamWorld. But for those who aren't familiar with the SteamWorld franchise, this started all the way back in the DSiWare days. And essentially, SteamWorld's MO is they take a franchise and they make it put it into the framework of their steampunk universe they've created. But they kind of give it a little twist. So SteamWorld Dig is their Metroidvania, but rather than it being a typical Metroidvania, it's like cyclical. It's cycle-based. It's about going underground, getting resources, coming back up, blah, blah, blah. SteamWorld Heist is their take on XCOM, except it's 2D, and it's mission-based, and you have a hub and a crew and stuff like this. SteamWorld Quest is their take on a deck-building card game, except it's also an RPG. So, like, they always have a little twist on whatever genre they're tackling. And SteamWorld Build is no different. SteamWorld Build is their take on a city builder. The difference with this is you have got, kind of like Dig, multiple levels to the city building. So on the top level, where you're building out your city, it operates like a lot of these other city builders do, where you're laying roads, you have workers, they have to connect to like a central train station, you have import and export, and you're setting up warehouses, and you're setting up factories, and all this stuff to have a generalized like resource management kind of thing, and a sort of like ecosystem happening in your city. That's all here. It is very simplified, which I like because I've never been able to click with a city builder because it's just usually it's menus on menus on menus on menus. This is very streamlined. This is very like you don't have to do too much digging. Everything is kind of laid out cleanly. It all just kind of makes sense. The twist with this one is you not only are doing a city builder, but you're also doing like a mine builder sort of thing, because under the surface of the city is this whole underground network that you're also kind of carving out, gathering additional resources, and you're building kind of a little mini city of like miners and engineers and prospectors who are gathering resources and also looking for essentially the things to keep the narrative moving. There's these buried ancient artifacts that this like kind of nefarious alien creature is trying to get you to uncover. So
Like you do.
And it seems like from what I had seen in the trailer, there's actually not just one level under the surface. There's going to be multiple mine levels. So it's going to get, fairly
Yeah, what
in-depth.
you just played was the demo. The full game's
Yes.
not out yet.
Full game's not out yet. It's coming later this year, and it is coming to Switch. And they have said that the Switch will run at parity with the other versions of the game, which is crazy.
Nice.
I'm going to be very interested. And I hope they do another demo when the Switch version comes out, because that was my whole thing playing this. I was like, I don't understand how this is going to work well on Switch. They say it will. We'll see what happens. The demo also doesn't have controller support, so wasn't able to get a feel for how this is going to work on a controller, because with these, there's so much tactile movement, placing your houses and placing the roads and stuff. Like, it's hard to imagine how that's going to feel good with a controller. But we'll see. They've done it. Other people have done this before to varying success. But for me, this was the one. If anybody could do it, it was going to be SteamWorld. SteamWorld is always the franchise that finds a way to make me connect with a genre that I was never able to connect with before. And this is no different. This is the first ever city builder I've ever liked. And by the end of that demo, I really did find myself getting sucked into it. And I was just like, cool, like I'm in, like you got me. I'm officially excited for a city builder in a way that I've never been before. SteamWorld Build is really cool.
Nice.
So.
Well, it actually doesn't surprise me. Talk about the parity between the Steam version and the Nintendo Switch version, because we like to the big talking point about the fact that the Switch is about to finish its sixth year on the market, which is insane. The big talking point about it is, well, it's old, we need a new piece of hardware. The flip side to that nobody ever mentions is the fact that we've had it on the market for 6 years, ergo talented developers know how to get the most out of it.
Right. Yeah, that's true. And they're very familiar with Nintendo hardware. They for a long time were
again DSiWare.
Yeah, they for a long time were essentially a Nintendo exclusive developer.
Yep.
So I think it matters a lot to them that they get this right. I have confidence they've more than earned the benefit of the doubt in my mind, and also in a class, just an absolute classy move. Brian from Image and Form / Thunderful now. Somebody, I think it was Mark the Canadian, reached out because the late Bobby Pauls, the Nintendo guru, was a massive fan of SteamWorld and was sort of a keeper of the lore of SteamWorld. He was huge into SteamWorld. And Mark the Canadian was like, hey, guys, what do we have to do to get a sort of NPC named after Bobby? Yeah. And Brian from Thunderful was like, hey, I brought this up to the team and they were all about it. We can't do it in SteamWorld Build because there's kind of not NPCs in SteamWorld Build, but in a future SteamWorld game, there will be an NPC dedicated to the memory of the late Bobby Pauls, the Nintendo guru. And just a total class act. I thought that was so great. Yeah, thought that was so great. So if they already didn't have all sorts of goodwill with me, I'm day one on this. I really can't wait. This has climbed pretty near to the top of my most anticipated for this year. I really, really love the
city
demo.
builder.
I know. I was like, last year I learned that I like management sims, I guess. And now I'm learning that I've liked, for the first time ever, a city building game. It's cool. It's a cool feeling.
The indie space has made you interested in menus.
I know. Yeah. And this one just eliminates so many of the things that I've never liked about them. So yeah, we don't have a date yet. We just know it's coming this year. And I really can't wait. The demo is on Steam. So if you have the capacity to play it, I recommend you do. Give it a shot, even if you don't like city builders, because neither did I. So try it out.
But you mentioned the loss of Nintendo exclusivity a few minutes ago. Mm-hmm. Speaking of that, what of SteamWorld Headhunter? Did we get anything?
Not really. SteamWorld Headhunter is still in development. It's not currently announced for Switch.
Exactly. Yeah.
I wondered
if anything happened in that regard.
Not really. We didn't really see much of it. They revealed like project names, like like caramel and strawberry, and this one was project name coffee. Steamroll Build was project name coffee. And we're fans of
I like that.
I do like coffee, so
That's the next Splatfest.
hey, that'd be pretty sick, actually. I mean, speaking of Splatfest, we do actually know what the next Splatfest is. Should we just go ahead and segue into that since it's there?
Sure, it's not caramel, coffee, or strawberries,
right?
Despite the fact that all three of those are weirdly, present, especially the strawberries and that gorgeous Celeste 5th year anniversary edition, which
True.
That edition, but. It is very sweet food themed. The next Splatfest, coming to us from Splatoon 3, is going to be a chocolate war. Dark chocolate, milk chocolate, or white chocolate. Die on your chocolate hill. Pick your team. I'm milk chocolate.
I was going to say, I remember you saying you were milk chocolate. You know, it's funny. I really, the older I've gotten, I have enjoyed dark chocolate a lot more. I used to hate it. When I was a kid, I did not like it whatsoever. But as I've gotten older, I've really come around to dark chocolate. And the thing that sells it for me, though, is my wife has always been a dark chocolate stan. And I play these Splatfests primarily with her. So in order to play, if nothing else, I got to go team dark chocolate to play with her. And if you choose team white chocolate, you're just a psychopath. I'm sorry. There's just no shot.
Hashtag Micah.
Yeah, Micah talking about going team white chocolate. I'm sorry, no, just no.
It needs to be said. White chocolate is basically just sugary soap.
It isn't. It actually isn't chocolate. Like, so the phrasing, the theme is literally, "What's your favorite chocolate?" Well, white chocolate isn't chocolate, so like already it's invalid in my mind, even if it wasn't also just kind of like weird and gross. And for me, white chocolate is only good as a supplement to other things, like peppermint bark, a white chocolate coated pretzel or something like that, a white chocolate cake. Other than that, yeah, like white chocolate on its own, disgusting. Sorry.
Well, every chocolate bar that I've ever liked in my entire life was all milk chocolate based, whether it be Almond Joy or Snickers or even just Hershey or of course Reese's. It's all been a milk chocolate base, so I've got to be team milk chocolate. I've tried dark chocolate. I just no, I can't do it. Sorry guys. Team milk chocolate all the way here.
Yeah.
I guess that's what it is. I mean, anybody who knows me and sees me drinking coffee a lot knows that my coffee is effectively sugar with a side of coffee.
Well, this whatever side of the fence you fall on in this particular Splatfest, it is happening starting 4 p.m. Pacific on February 10th through 4 p.m. Pacific on February 12th. So
yeah. So you will notice that a lot of stuff that Nintendo is doing right now, they are trying to stagger these Splatfests and these Pokemon Terror Raids. By the way, there's a really cool Terror Raid event going on this weekend with Poison-type Greninja, Lucario, and Bronzong. But you'll notice that Nintendo is staggering these Terror Raid battles and the Splatfests with like the release of new games. Like there wasn't a Splatfest or a big Terra event last week because they wanted to give room to Fire Emblem Engage. And now they're just trying to iron out the calendar so that they're not basically stepping on their own game's toes at this point. It's like this week Pokemon has it on the calendar. Next week we got the Splatfest. That, we don't want to step on the release of another game. It was like, okay, what's major going on this week? Nothing? Okay, let's have an event for one of our games on that week.
It's smart. It's smart.
It is.
That's the way to do it. Honestly, I can't complain. If you're in that ecosystem, if you're playing all those games, you've always got something to do.
Exactly.
I think that's really smart. Well, speaking of, we just talked about a presentation. There's another presentation that I know you're excited about for NIS America hosting their 30th anniversary live stream on January 30th, 10 a.m. Pacific, promising, quote, special NIS focused game announcements, merch, and giveaways, end quote.
I really like Nippon Ichi Software. I think they're very, very underrated. They are very Japanese, don't get me wrong. They are the J-est of JRPGs. But I'm still a huge fan of a lot of the stuff they do. Disgaea is still a fantastic series. The Atelier series that's been going since like the PlayStation 2, I've always been a real big fan of. They were the ones that released R-Type Final 2. They've got a lot of really cool and interesting and very underrated games under their catalog, and I'm very excited for this one. I'm really, really interested to see what the new year's going to hold. I know they're probably done with R-Type Final 2, but it's been a long time since I've jumped into an NIS America or a Nippon Ichi Software RPG in general. So we'll see what they have up their sleeves next week. But I am, yes, you are correct, sir, quite excited for this.
I knew you would be. Well, I really just need Atelier Ryza 3 to be good because I just want those fantasy points. That's all I care about.
Exactly. We did draft that.
Oh yeah. That's our dark horse. So I'm hoping to rack up some points on that, and I know you're excited. We'll be looking forward to hearing more about this next week on the show. So let's talk about these Mario movie toys. Man, we got to look at some Mario movie toys from Jakks Pacific. We got our first look at the Mario movie line, which is launching February 26th. Yet another thing to look forward to in February. So what we have seen so far is Peach with an umbrella accessory, Mario with a plunger, Luigi with a flashlight, and Toad, complete with the Captain Toad backpack and everything, holding a frying pan. Now, I will say, there was also a leak about a week ago of a fire-breathing Bowser toy, which I've got no idea even how it works. Like, I don't know, because what it is, somebody managed to buy it from a Walmart, like a month early, and like it essentially spews out smoke like out of its mouth, and it lights up red, so it looks like fire is kind of just bellowing. It's really cool, but I have no clue how it works. I'm like, do you load water into this thing? Like, what do you do? I don't understand. But anyway, we got our first look at this stuff, and I'm sure we're going to see more as we're leading up to the launch of that. And the movie, of course, comes out in April. So we're getting into it, man.
I know, but obviously for people like us who've been waiting on this movie for so long, I know there's going to be a ton of collectors out there. You know, obviously these are supposed to be kids' toys. These are supposed to be bought and played with by children.
Yeah.
But there's also going to be a big collector's market out there. There's going to be a massive split down the middle of people who want to own these. And for both of their sakes, I hope these are at least well made. We've seen so many different licensed products that were just thrown out with quick molds and half-hearted plastic to meet a deadline. I really hope at the end of the day these are well made. We haven't actually seen too many of these toys in motion. I've seen the pictures quite a bit, but we haven't seen any unboxed. We haven't seen really these toys in motion whatsoever. So it's hard to really get a gauge of how articulated they are going to be, because we do see the points of articulation. We do see the joints.
Looks like a lot.
So they are going to be fairly posable. I just, hopefully they're sturdy. Hopefully they can actually stand when they're posed. Hopefully they can be played with or collected in a way that is satisfying for people who want to do either. Because I'm probably going to be people when it comes to collecting.
Yeah, I mean, like, I want all of these. Realistically, I'm probably going to get Toad and Bowser if nothing else. But but I do, Jakks Pacific they've had a Nintendo license for like 20 years or something like that, since the GameCube days. Jakks Pacific has been making Nintendo licensed toys, so they have a long-standing history with them. They know how to make Nintendo toys. They've done it successfully for a long time. So it was only really a matter of time before they revealed this stuff themselves, and we don't have all that long to wait. February 26th.
Exactly.
So it's coming really in just a month, less than a month at this point. We'll be able to go to the store and buy Mario movie toys.
They just need to reveal the Mario movie game, right, Seth?
Yeah, we're waiting on it. February Direct, baby.
The February Direct.
It's coming.
Dude, if that happens, I will lose my mind on your behalf.
It's coming. We're on Direct Watch, baby. All right. Well, we do have a few little release date updates we got here. Some of them are actually fairly exciting. It was kind of a big week for like just, hey, this is coming. So Trek to Yami, or
Mm,
Yomi,
I'm
whatever it is.
I'm
Um,
so happy we're getting this. Trek to
Me
Yomi
too.
is effectively Ghost of Tsushima 2D.
Yeah, like 2D Ghost of Tsushima, totally got that
Black and
vibe to it.
white,
Yep,
Akira Kurosawa. Like
totally.
this is 2D Akira Kurosawa in video game form.
Totally. It's been on the
And
other
I
platforms for a
cannot
while.
wait. Yeah, I was hoping we were going to get this because, looking at this, I was like, that is absolutely a game the Switch can run. We're never getting Ghost of Tsushima on the Nintendo Switch. So this is basically going to be the next best thing. And I've been really, really interested to see this game. It looks like it's going to be like the simulation to Katana Zero's arcade.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, it's like 2D side-scrolling samurai game.
Yeah.
And the Switch is finally getting it in just a couple days at this point, January 30th.
Yeah.
So, right around the corner. Yeah. One that I've been looking forward to for a long time is the
Yes, you have.
Pathless.
Yes, you have.
I've been waiting on this for a minute to come to Switch. I knew this was another one. Like, this game runs on phones. Like, it could run on the Switch. Like, it's on Apple Arcade. Like, so the Pathless coming to Switch. Finally, we got a release date, February 2nd from Annapurna. I'm really excited to play
Big
that.
week.
Yeah, big week. And then, in a total out of nowhere announcement, Life is Strange 2 dropping on Switch on the same day, on February 2nd. Kind of completing the Life is Strange series on Switch, except for Captain Spirit, I guess. But
Yeah, that's true.
Really cool.
That's true.
Really cool. I'm excited for that. Life is Strange 2.
I am
You're gonna
too.
have everything.
Yeah, next week got massive out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere. Just out of nowhere. But we do have just a really quick odd story. This happened, I think, in Europe like a week or two ago, but now we have it in America. NSO subscribers can play the full version of Uno through the 29th. So you got like another day or two to play Uno. And if you're so inclined, you can pick up the full version of the game for 60% off. Or, you could pay like $10 for it at the store and just play Uno IRL too. So
I actually did have a ton of fun playing Uno back when it was on the Xbox 360. I did actually have a lot of fun playing Uno online because one of the really good things about playing Uno online is that it's not necessarily a game you need a fantastic internet connection for.
It's turn-based, so yeah.
Exactly. It's turn-based. It's not one of those, if you're running 3 frames behind, you might as well not even play the game at that point. Uno is a very chill, very easy game to play online with some people. I will say, if you are going to be playing online with other people, if you're going to let your kids do that, do be monitoring who they play with, because on the Xbox 360, you wouldn't think about it when it comes to Uno, but it was the Wild West. It was incredibly obscene and incredibly just bad.
Really?
It was just really bad.
People had their cameras on and whatnot?
People had their cameras on.
Really?
They were just cussing up a storm. It was basically like, what was that? Smeagol or Snaggle?
Omegle.
Omegle, yeah. It was like an early Omegle, basically.
Yeah.
And there were some bad stuff that some randos that I played online Uno with in the Xbox 360 days would pop in with. So just, if you're going to let your kids play that online, just
you don't got to worry about it on Switch. I mean,
yeah,
you're not going to have voice chat or cameras on Switch, so
that's true.
Be all right. It'll be all right.
That's true.
But yeah, that's going on. You got the next day or so to play some Uno if you want to. But let's hit some of these notable releases as we wrap up here. We got a couple, not a huge week, but a pretty good week. Some good stuff.
Well, honestly, one release made this a big week. Obviously, we've already talked about it, but yes, GoldenEye returns to a Nintendo console after decades away in the Xbox Rare wilderness. We finally have the Rare Legend back on a Nintendo console, again, with online multiplayer. I'm genuinely never going to get tired of saying that, Seth.
Crazy.
Janky gameplay and all. So happy that it's finally back. This probably is going to sell quite a few expansion pack NSO subscriptions.
I think so too.
So you do obviously need the NSO expansion pack specifically to play it because it is a Nintendo 64 game. But yeah, I would love to see the numbers on NSO expansion pack subscriptions from this past day or two. I think I think those would be very interesting numbers.
Yeah, I think so too. We also have Onion Assault, which came out this week, which we talked about at length a week or two ago. Big
Yes.
thanks to the developer who gave us early
Yes.
access to that. So Eric and I both played through it and gave some fairly lengthy impressions here on the show, and both enjoyed it. It's it's $7.99. Eric feels like it was a little overpriced.
I do.
I do get that. It's a Super Mario Brothers 2 kind of homage, and it's a quick playthrough, 3-4 hours, and it's a fun little game. Maybe if you're not sure about it, wishlist it, wait on a sale or something like that. But it's a fun little game. I really enjoyed it. So.
Yeah. In addition to that, another game that we've already talked about that we got a little bit of early access to. Thank you once again to the developer. The Excavation of Hobbs Barrow released this past week. Thank you again to the developer. So if you're into 2D, it seems like there's a lot of really good point-and-click adventures dropping on the Nintendo Switch over the past year or so. So if you're into games like that and you love the old LucasArts games, you're a big fan of Monkey Island, Maniac Mansion, Day of the Tentacle, maybe check this one out.
It's really cool. I like it a lot. I'm really excited to play through the full thing. And again, there's a video for Onion Assault and Hobbs Barrow on the YouTube channel if you guys want to look at it. But yes, Eric over there excitedly holding his copy of the Monster Boy Anniversary Collection, which I know he just got his physical copy in the mail this past week. It also released digitally this past week, so
yes,
I know you're happy.
I got my physical copy. As a matter of fact, I have to thank you because you specifically were the one who turned me onto it. You knew that I was a big fan of the series. Yeah. So this the physical version came from Strictly Limited, and it has Wonder Boy Dragon, Wonder Boy Monsterland, Wonder Boy 3 Monster Lair, the Dragon's Trap, Wonder Boy and Monster World, Wonder Boy Monster World 4. It's got 6 different games with multiple versions of each game, a total of 21 different versions across all 6 titles.
That's awesome.
I love it when retro collections do that. You and I talked about this again, the Disney collection with Jungle Book and Lion King and Aladdin. They also did that. They had the different versions on the collection, and I love it when the Cowabunga collection did the exact same thing. I really love it when companies do this. It is admittedly pretty expensive, even digitally. It's $50. So yes, it is very expensive, but if you're into retro platformers, retro Metroidvanias, it's a really, really interesting piece of video game history at the very least. An expensive one to be sure, but one that I'm very happy personally to have. And maybe check out a potential sale if it does go on discount anytime in the future.
Nice. Yeah, good week. Turned out to be a pretty good week. Yeah.
It's a good thing too, because you and I had nothing to play.
Yeah, absolutely.
Clearly.
Nothing. Yeah, we haven't been busy at all.
My backlog, man, is getting legendary.
Yeah, I know. I hear you.
I know. But with everything going on in the world of the big end, with all of the amazing games that we've gotten this year already within the first few weeks of 2023, let us know what you guys are up to. Let us know what you are playing. Are you playing one of the brand new games? Are you diving headfirst into a Splatfest or a Terror Raid battle? Or what are you guys doing this week? And let us know. Reach out to us on Facebook and Twitter at All In Podcast. Join our amazing community of All In Army soldiers over at the Discord. And if you haven't already, and you're joining us on YouTube right now, how about you just hover your mouse over that like, subscribe, and the little bell icon and just take care of all 3 of those real quick. We would really appreciate it. We have a lot of content that goes up each and every week, and we do it all for you guys. So we think maybe, possibly it would be nice if you also checked out our Patreon.
Yeah, patreon.com/allinpodcast. 3 tiers of support over there. See which one works for you. All kinds of exclusive stuff like exclusive podcasts, the $2 Hero Cast, All In Side Quest, which Eric and I do every single week. And this last week we broke down the Xbox Developer Direct. That's our Nintendo podcast. And yeah, super appreciate your support on Patreon. But as Eric's holding up his All In mug there, you should also check out our merch. bit.ly/allinmerch. You can get yourself one of these awesome little mugs. that have our awesome key art on it, as well as shirts and stickers and all kinds of things. It's been cool. People have been getting in their all-in merch this week and posting pictures. It's been nice to see.
Yeah, we've got a few friends. We've got some merch out in the wild. Oh, by the way, Triforce tier patrons do get a little bit of discount on the merch as well.
Triforce tier patrons will never pay full price for all-in merch. So another incentive to join the Patreon army. And if you don't want to throw any bones our way, it's fine. We get it. But you can actually also support us completely for free, and that's by dropping some words. On Apple Podcasts, Podchaser, and Audible, you can leave us 5-star written reviews that I will shout out here on the show, and on Spotify, you can leave us 5-star ratings, and that is totally free, easy, and appreciated.
Yeah, this has been an amazing run for us already, guys. All thanks to you and the support that you have given us each and every week. A huge thank you to all of our amazing patrons. A huge thank you to all of you certified legends who have reviewed us on whatever podcast service you listen to us on each and every week. And to everybody who has just shared our content somewhere around the internet. Honestly, from the bottom of our hearts, thank you and namaste.
Namaste. That's the news, everybody. Thank you guys for popping in. We appreciate you. Normally, I like to hang out.
I appreciate you, Seth.
I appreciate you, Eric.
I appreciate
you. I normally like to hang out for a couple more minutes, but my wife actually just got home a little bit ago with dinner, so I got.
Oh, nice! Tell her to come say hi.
Oh, she's not even anywhere near. But she's in the living room, I'm sure. Yeah. But yeah, I'm gonna go eat dinner. Guys, this is just a piece of the podcast that goes live tomorrow on all of the podcast services, and we have a really fun top 5 celebrating National King Day, where we count down the top 5 kings in Nintendo history. An indie showcase this week on Kaze and the Wild Masks, the Donkey Kong Country-like. But yeah, the big one. Yeah. The big one.
You are not going to want to miss tomorrow's episode. Our good friend Cheesy returns to All In to give us the full lowdown from his exclusive preview of Hollywood's Super Nintendo World. We are actually going to be getting insider information about Super Nintendo World in Hollywood on tomorrow's episode of All In Podcast. Do not miss it.
Yeah, links to the podcast are in the description, as well as all of our social media and everything else. So we appreciate you guys. Don't miss tomorrow's episode. Be jealous of Cheesy with us, and we'll see you then. Bye, guys.
Have a good night, guys. Have a great weekend.